With Battlefield 6, EA suddenly sounds like that ex who comes back saying, "Babe, I've changed," but have they really fixed their act? They're betting a ton of money on this game and it actually looks great. So the real question is, well, actually there are two questions. Should the rest of the industry be taking notes from EA of all companies, and should you spend your hard-earned money on Battlefield 6? Now you might expect the answer to be a simple yes, but it's not. And that's exactly what we're gonna find out in the next 8 minutes and 55 seconds. Now this is not a rage bait, and I'm not here to hate on Battlefield 6 just because it's EA. As a matter of fact, I really liked what I've seen so far, and apparently many others have as well, because at the time of me making this video, there have been 600,000 pre-orders on Steam alone. I mean, it's really refreshing to see actual soldiers in a military shooter instead of Ninja Turtles or whatever the this is running around the map. Battlefield 6 is the first AAA game that feels like it's made for the actual core audience, because it offers the grounded experience that players have been begging for. What's even crazier is the guys over at EA are actively listening to player feedback, and of course they are. Desperation is a hell of a motivator. Anyways, this might also send a good message to the rest of the industry, that this is what the gamers actually want, not girl bosses yoinking men several feet in the air. So in this regard, yes, the industry should take notes from EA, ditch the politics and bullshit agendas, and actually listen to the players. But for a game of this scale and size that is supposed to save EA, is this it? Yeah, the graphics are great and all, but just imagine if this game came out instead of Battlefield 5 back in 2018. Would it get the same overwhelmingly positive reaction? This is the state of gamers now. We are so starved for a bullshit-free game that we end up cheering for EA of all companies. These are the same people who told the fans if you don't like it, don't buy it when they complained about boss babes in Battlefield 5. So let's get one thing straight. EA did not have a change of heart. This is just good marketing. But will it pay off? We all know they're aiming to have 100 million players in Battlefield 6. This is a ridiculously unrealistic goal, and of course they need it because they poured an assload of money into this. Now this game has a reported budget of around $400 million, and this is just EA pulling a Ubisoft on us. This $400 million figure was targeted back in early 2023, and that was before having multiple studios on board. Now here's the thing. The executives wanted this game to be the full package so it can go toe-to-toe with COD and Fortnite. So back in 2023, Ridgeline Gaming, a small studio, was made responsible for the Battlefield 6 single-player campaign. For 2 years, the studio struggled to work on it, but the executives were not happy with the progress, so EA did what EA does best. They shut down the studio. Around February 2024, EA brought in DICE, Motive, Criterion, and Ripple Effect to work on the single-player campaign. So this year, the reported budget is well north of $400 million. Considering how many people are working on it now, paired with the marketing costs, it could be $500 million, it could be $800 million, I don't know. What I do know is things were not looking so good right out of the third gate, but more on that in a bit. Now here's where things get really interesting. The new teams had to work on the single player campaign from scratch, because apparently there was essentially nothing left that Ridgeline had spent 2 years working on that they could pick up on and build. So yeah, the single player is 2 years behind schedule and has been in development for just over 1 year. Let that sink in. Now, I don't know if you care about the single player or not, but if you do, things are not looking great. So you can expect a subpar single player campaign that's just 4 to 5 hours long at best, with huge day 1 and day 2 patches. EA Studios use a gate system to set the pace of development. Projects have to meet certain criteria to pass each gate. For Gate 1, teams must have a clear sense of what they want to make and some proof of concept showing that this vision is achievable. At the second gate, they build and test key technology to see if it can work at scale. Then finally, Gate 3 signifies full production. Now, the executives expected Battlefield 6 to pass Gate 3 way earlier, but there were significant delays because of course things were not ready. After that, EA rushed the game into full production while many of the devs still believed that it wasn't ready. And get this, when anyone flagged the issues, they were cut out of meetings. I mean, just imagine being so blinded by greed that you won't even listen to the concerns of people actually working on the damn game. And paired with the whole single player campaign mess, this game could use a delay, and it's never a bad idea to polish things to perfection. But of course, the executives want their quarterly profits, so they're not delaying this thing whatsoever. With 4 studios working full force on this project, paired with the marketing costs at this point, the budget could be realistically reaching $700 million, and that's a lowball guess. The game's priced at $70 and they're aiming for 100 million players, knowing very well that Battlefield has never even come close to those numbers. I mean, that's like me expecting this video to get 100,000 views. That seems impossible, but hey, you can still help me get a bit closer. So drop your thoughts on Battlefield 6 in the comments and hit like and subscribe, cause you know, YouTube loves engagement. Anyways, one thing I'm really glad about is this game has absolutely embarrassed Call of Duty. The open beta pulled in 5 million players worldwide, and on top of that, there are 600,000 pre-orders and over 2 million wishlists for Battlefield 6 on Steam alone. I mean, that's pretty impressive. But here's the thing, if a free open beta with all the marketing and the crazy hype couldn't even reach 10 million player count, realistically how many people will buy the game for $70 and keep on playing it? Especially when the single player campaign is there just to check a box, while the multiplayer, despite being the main focus, is already plagued with cheaters. Even after the Javelin system stopped over 300,000 cheating attempts, which is impressive but disturbing at the same time, there were still reports of like 100,000 cheating incidents in just 2 days. And the Javelin system itself is kind of a problem for PC players, but that's a different topic. Anyways, the bad will that EA has worked so hard to build over the years won't just vanish overnight. Even the free-to-play Battle Royale mode coming in a few months might not be able to pull the numbers they're dreaming of, unless they somehow break the mold, redefine the genre, and make sure the game stays free of cheaters. The thing is, at this point, it doesn't matter how many of you buy the game, the layoffs, or if not that, many devs might still end up leaving anyway. And I'm not even getting into all the problems these studios had with the leadership, but some prominent figures have already left, including Lars Gustafsson, also known as Mr. Battlefield, who left way back in 2021. And not just that, there are other people who took mental exhaustion leaves from anywhere between 2 weeks up to 9 freaking months. So just like the players, these people are also sick and f***ing tired of EA's shit. Now, I could be wrong about all this, of course, but this much is clear. Battlefield 6 is going to sell great, the game will be showered with praise. However, the sales numbers still might not be enough to please the leadership over at EA, especially if the cheater problem is not fixed, which might only get worse with the Battle Royale mode. So the question is, how do they get their money back? Some studios will probably get axed. And since they're not focusing on fancy skins, which to be honest is a breath of fresh air, you can bet there will be aggressive monetization of in-game content. Talk about paid DLCs, season passes, and timed events being paywalled. And even worse, they might even try to pull an Activision on us with in-game ads. So yeah, the loyal fans are gonna be squeezed for every penny just so EA can stay afloat. But still, for the industry to get the right message, and just to hopefully see Call of Duty crash and burn, you should buy this game. But do wait for a sale. And you might be tired of hearing this, but do not pre-order, because we have to look at the bigger picture here. If EA doesn't survive, the passionate devs trapped inside might break away to form their own studios. I mean, just imagine some of the devs at DICE create a smaller studio focusing on making great first-person shooters. It's happened before, it could happen again. So in my optimistic view, letting Battlefield 6 fail might just be a sacrifice for the greater good. And if EA falls, I hope Activision and Call of Duty are next. Assuming, of course, a brain-dead COD fanboys can resist buying the same game every year. Anyways, thanks for watching. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Do share your thoughts about Battlefield 6 in the comments down below. Until next time, take care.